Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Yeah.
What up? Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real on the ASAP Network. Here today again with Sean and Adam. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
It has. I've missed you guys. I dream about you every night.
You as well.
Yeah, you were covering your NASCAR. You were in heaven.
It was. I'm not even gonna lie. I was having fun. Looks like Sean is frozen, and that is a terrible pose. He looks like he's
That
puking.
is.
So
Am I good now?
You're good.
yeah, there we go.
I don't know what's going on. I definitely want to hear about how you think the Jags did, and if you think they hit or miss for sure.
Okay. Be pretty harsh with them. Where do you guys want to start off? You want to go by the agenda, or you want to keep it real and just wing it?
Just
I have a
whatever.
feeling we're going to be talking about the draft for most of the show, so we can start wherever you want with the draft. Let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and grade our team's performance respectively: Broncos, Jaguars, and Ravens, obviously.
All right. Let's hear what the Broncos did in the NFL draft.
Okay. They didn't really do too well, like too much, because they didn't have a first round pick. They didn't have a. They started in the second round. I didn't even get to watch much of the draft because I work at 4 a.m. Give me a second. I do like some of their pickups. They needed Bonito. They needed him, edge rusher. That was the first pick, and that was someone that I think they really needed on defense because they weren't really penetrating the line too much. They weren't getting to the quarterback. Their other picks weren't really crazy. I mean, they picked a tight end, a D lineman, and a corner.
They picked a
But
one-dimensional tight end.
yeah, he is what he is. I think that was a whatever pick. I don't know why they would even pick him there. There was other options that are better, and I like Akua Bunum. But yeah, I like Bonito. He did pretty well in college. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to pan out in the NFL. We've seen plenty of people do really well in college and completely bust. Ron Dane was one of them as a running back.
Yeah.
So yeah, aside from that, I mean, they didn't really do too much. The other team I follow, the Eagles, they did quite a bit.
Yeah, I want to definitely talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, they'll be brought up later. I'm excited to see how that pans out this season. But as far as their draft, it was pretty quiet. I mean, nothing crazy. Nothing really big that they really needed. They got what they needed in the trade. They picked up a wide receiver very end. Almost Mr. Irrelevant. Montrell Washington. Never even heard of him.
I ain't heard of them either. But you know what? I want. You know what's a crazy fact is I read something that said there's actually more undrafted players in the Hall of Fame than there is first overall picks.
Yeah, because
that is insane to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I was talking to someone and they were talking about these college accolades. Like so and so was a first round pick. Okay, cool. They're more the bust than anyone else. Because if your first round pick, I mean that's a 5-year guaranteed contract. Because first years you can get 5th-year options. They're more than likely going to bust than a 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick because they don't have as much to prove in their mind.
Yeah, they have more expectations.
I will also add a stat to that the teams picking first usually are Jacksonville and teams like that are not built teams. And if you're a position player, and you get selected, mid round, you're going to make it. If you're picking number 1 overall, you're usually taking a quarterback, you're usually taking an offensive lineman. Those guys pan out less than 20%.
Right.
So the undrafted guys actually have a better chance, in my opinion, because they go to a team of their choice and can flourish in a good system.
Yep.
So
like Justin Ross.
If you had to grade the Broncos draft, what would you give them? Obviously, it's a little hard if they. I mean,
Yeah,
they didn't have a first, so it's a little harder to.
I'd say they were a C.
See,
I mean, there's nothing that
you guys are harsh on your teams, man.
Huh?
You guys are harsh on your teams.
I mean, it's hard to grade when they didn't really get anything crazy. Like, no one they picked. Nick Bonito was pretty damn good in college, but I mean,
okay, but include Russell Wilson in that because you technically got him with a first-round pick. If you want to look at it that way.
So if we include it that way, I give him an A.
There
if we're going to include Russell Wilson, I'll give him an A because they give up the 9th overall pick, which no one at that pick would have been better than Russell Wilson anyway. Sure, we'll go with that then. Without Russell, it's a C. With Russell, it's an A.
Take it. Ravens.
Ravens? Go. I'm non-biased. I'm going to give the Ravens. I think most of the experts agree. I'm going to give the Ravens a A. I think, A plus. I mean, I think they were one of the top 2 teams. I mean, you could argue the Jets, but the Ravens are right there with them. It just seems so crazy how each year the Ravens just seem like they just do somehow these players just fall to them who have no business falling to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously Kyle Hamilton at 14 is a great.
I'm not happy about that.
It's something tells me we're getting ready to take Jordan Davis, but the Eagles moved up in front of us and took him. I mean, that was one of the 3 times a team traded in front of us to take a player. I didn't want Jordan Davis because he's only a 2-down player for right now.
Yeah, he's not a full.
He's in a better situation next with Fletcher Cox that he can learn from. So I'm glad we took Kyle Hamilton, and then we flipped Hollywood for the 23rd pick. And then ended up moving
a steal.
That's a heck of a steal for them.
We ended up moving back to 25 and taking probably the best interior lineman in this draft, and definitely the best center in this draft, Tyler Lindenbaum. So I mean, obviously,
so good.
You can't argue either one of those picks, in my opinion. The second round, we turn around after the Texans move in front of us. We turn around and take David Ajobo, who before he tore his Achilles was mocked to the Ravens at 14, or a lot of people thought he was going top 10. So he's back with his defensive coordinator from college. I think, obviously, that's a great pick. I don't think anybody can argue that's a great value pick. Then we take the defensive tackle, Travis Jones. People had him mocked in the first round. The 4th round, obviously, we cleaned up 6 picks, used all 6 of them. I was honestly shocked. It's a very Eric DeCosta thing to do, to trade and get a 3rd-round pick with those. But we took all 6 using 2 tight ends, a punter, a corner, I think 2 corners with his positions of need. And then we grab a running back in the 6th round, which is a heavy team, and a tight end up the seam team. So I have no argument with the Ravens draft. Even with Hollywood being gone, people don't understand the Ravens. They're going to get back to 2019. They're going to want to run first. That's why we beef up the offensive line and took that offensive tackle, who's a mammoth of a human being, in the 4th round. So, yeah, I think the Ravens get a A plus. I mean, this is each year that they do this, though. So we'll see how it goes.
I really thought you guys were going to get Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I was shocked he went back to the Broncos.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't understand that.
I thought that bridge was burnt.
So did I. I was like, yo, Dobbins could use some help out there.
Yeah.
Did you hear the timing of that trade, though? Marcus Brown. That deal was done, they said, roughly 2 weeks before the draft, and was announced the day of the draft.
Right. I think a lot of this stuff. Well, yeah, it was so crazy how Hollywood, Marquise Brown, and the Ravens just kept it quiet because they didn't want other teams to try to come in or try to offer a better receiver maybe. So I mean, thank God Hollywood Brown and that's a nod to the Cardinals and the Ravens for keeping it quiet. Nobody knew. I mean, I think this was in the works for a while because if you know anything about Hollywood, I've talked about this on the show when I was in Florida a while ago. I don't think Hollywood's here long term, and I question his love for football anyway. And it's just crazy to me that he's complaining about not getting the ball, but he had more targets this year than any of the Cardinals receivers had last year. Any single one of them. He had 146 targets, so I don't know what he's necessarily complaining about. But if you don't want to be here, we can't pay a wide receiver $20 million. It's just not who we are, especially not of that caliber. So
he's also complaining.
And we traded him 3 years later for pick 25, essentially. So, I mean, see you later.
Yeah. I mean, he's complaining about something when his starting quarterback missed 6 games last year, too.
And he still had 146 targets with the first drops in the league. I don't know how you complain.
He can't. He just went out, which is works for them.
And with the DeAndre Hopkins suspension, obviously the Cardinals. This was from October, so obviously the Cardinals knew before this was made. This wasn't made public, I guess, until it was known that he was not going to appeal the suspension, and he was just going to take the suspension. Yeah. So obviously the Cardinals had already known that this was coming. So obviously that played a part in that as well.
Yep, which makes sense as to why they did what they did. Because AJ Green's a bum. Well, he's not a bum. He's washed up at this point.
He's old. Yeah.
Christian Kirk got $90 million. He got $900 million from the Jaguars and messed up the whole market and made every wide receiver want to get a bag and go to different teams.
He's the mayor of Duval now.
He is the mayor of Duval.
Okay.
Speaking of Duval, Chris.
Let's hear your team. Let's hear your outlook.
There's 2 ways I look at it. You've got one way where you judge a team based on where they pick. And Jacksonville, for the second year in a row, had the number 1 overall pick. How then do you take 0 players that were ranked in the top 5 on anyone's big board?
Yeah.
And it's not Walker versus Hutchinson to me. It's need-based taking. This was not a star-powered draft.
No.
So why then did we not trade back, get an additional first-round pick next year, and still land probably Trayvon Walker at 7 or 8 or 6? Instead, we stood our ground and took the 9th overall player at number 1.
Let me ask you this. I saw a lot of things that said the Jaguars GM was the only person that valued Walker over Hutchinson for the most part. They said almost every team had Hutchinson at 1.
Why wouldn't you?
Jaguars.
The only GM who valued Walker in the top 6.
Really?
Which makes no sense.
Where is this coming? I feel like it was just so out of left field randomly.
It was.
I would have traded down. Maybe even just the Texans at 3. Just move back 2 spots. They would have given up first round next year to get Aiden Hutchinson over, whoever.
I feel like the Lions draft room was like the Vikings draft room when Eagles passed on Jefferson, laughing at them. Like, how do you let Aiden Hutchinson get away from you? He's clearly one of the best talents in that whole draft.
Yeah, I thought Aiden Hutchinson was a clear-cut number 1. But
I mean, at least he never has to leave Detroit or Michigan.
Yeah.
He's been in Michigan his whole life.
It's like an hour drive for him to his new home.
Yep.
And get comfortable because you'll be losing there for your entire career.
Yep.
So, but basing it on a draft where you were the top picking team, they did awful. They traded back into the first round for Devin Lloyd, which is their best pick by far. He's the only guy that I see them having as a major contributor next year. You bring in Trayvon Walker, but he's not going to start. It'll be Josh Allen and Dwayne Smoot, and they'll put in Trayvon Walker as we go. So you look at their other picks. I really thought they were trading up to try and get center Tyler Linderbaum. He was already off the board. So I couldn't understand what the trade was for. And then we end up with Devin Lloyd. But you look at the 7 picks, 5 on defense, which is, I understand, you went offense heavy last year.
Right.
But your 2 offensive players are the 3rd best offensive center, and the 18th best running back, and Snoop Dogg. What was his name? Snoop. Man, now I sound like an idiot. Snoop Connor from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And then their second third round pick, was a hat on a hat with Chad Muma. I mean, they picked a linebacker in the first round to be that guy. They picked Devin Lloyd.
They picked Miles Jack replacement in the first round.
Yeah.
Right.
So for picking from number 1, D-, really. This was as bad as a draft as you could get. I'm surprised more teams. The only reason they're not the worst is I think the Cowboys probably had a consensus really bad draft, and they picked later. So otherwise, the Jags really screwed up. But no receivers, which scratches my head hard that we passed on the deepest wide receiver group we have ever seen in a draft. This was the one you can get a third or fourth round pick and still get a playable wide receiver on day 1.
Yep.
They paid Christian Kirk $140 million. Is that right?
Something like that.
It was a lot.
$140 million to be our
Not
number
worth
2.
it.
Yeah, he won't be our top receiver.
No.
So
That'll be Travis Etienne.
Yep. Done talking about Jacksonville. They're in Florida. I'm not in Florida. Screw that.
So who do you think had the best draft?
Me?
I know who I think.
I think the Ravens killed it. I mean, they didn't have to move around a lot to get the pieces they needed. All of their picks in the first 4 picks were considered first round steals. Yeah. And I mean, I know that the Hamilton pick is controversial because he dropped for a reason. There's character questions, but I think he will pan out to be an all-pro safety with that size and length.
He's good.
And it's hard to mess up a good thing when you've got all the intangibles. You just need to get your head in the game and kill it. So the Ravens all day.
Okay.
I thought the Jets had the second best draft class. I mean, for once, the Jets really did everything they should have done.
Yeah, they moved around a lot to get players they needed. They did a very good job putting some talent around Zach Wilson and putting him in a position to win. Got him a lot of weapons. I think if you include the AJ Brown trade, I think the Eagles have to be up there with the Jets and Ravens. But I think those 3 teams, and you could even throw in. There's a couple of teams that not a lot are talking about, like the Lions and Chiefs. I believe the Lions, Chiefs, and Packers all had a pretty decent draft. But I think the 3 clear cut were the Jets, the Eagles, and the Ravens.
I don't know about the Packers.
I like the Packers. I know a lot of people don't, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah, they did well for what they were put into.
Yeah, I will argue that because one of their steals is Devontae Wyatt, and coming from Georgia, love the guy. He's not going to be who you guys think he's going to be. He's going to plug a hole, and once every game he'll get a little pressure on the quarterback. I
really like Christian Watson to the Packers. I really like him. I think he's going to be really good for them.
It's kind of funny how the day Aaron Rodgers says that he's disappointed they didn't get a wide receiver, they get a wide receiver. I honestly think the Jets had the best draft with the Ravens right behind them.
I think it's really close, yeah.
I mean, you get, in my eyes, 3 top 5 players at their positions. Because you had Sauce Gardner, who's arguably one of the best corners in the draft.
Love Sauce Gardner.
He's so physical. I think that's why he wasn't the first cornerback, because he is so physical. And the NFL doesn't let you play a lot. Garrett Wilson's an absolute monster.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute monster. I actually had him as the best wide receiver in the class. Jermaine Johnson, but also Breece Hall. I did not see them going Breece Hall. I thought they were all in on
Michael Carter.
Mike Carter.
And they also have Ty Johnson as well.
Yeah. I think, like, I was talking to a buddy. Breece Hall is plugging in the RB1 immediately. He's not.
I love Breece Hall. Love
He
Breece
is
Hall.
not. Like, Michael Carter was phenomenal in college. Him and Javonte were good. He was actually better than Javonte, but it was a different type of back. Breece Hall is going to be like a Najee Harris this season. He's going to be good. And if Zach Wilson doesn't do good, this is his fault. It's not the team's anymore. It's his fault because now he has people to throw to. He has one of the best corners in the draft. and the best running back in the draft.
Their offensive line is still kind of shaky, though.
They did pick up a tackle, but it was the 4th round.
Right.
They got rid of. They had no second rounds because Breece Hall was a second round, but they had 4 first-round picks.
If they let Zach Wilson be Zach Wilson, the offensive line won't play as big of a factor. At BYU, he got out of the pocket and made plays well beyond the line of scrimmage. And if they let him do that, you're going to see a different Zach Wilson. If they ask him to stay in the pocket, you're going to see basically Sam Darnold 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to let him be him. I had the Ravens at 2nd, the Eagles at 3rd, just like Sean had the Eagles at 3rd.
I won't argue with that at all.
AJ Brown going to the Eagles is absolutely huge for.
That's another team who did a good job putting some pieces around their quarterback to get him.
I didn't like Jordan Davis. I didn't like that pick at all. I wanted them to go Hamilton all the way. They need a safety. They don't need another tackle on defense. Mind you, he's a nose tackle, but again, he's not a 3-down tackle.
Well, keep in mind they re-signed Fletcher Cox for no guaranteed money.
Well, yeah. I like that. I don't like Cox on the team at all. I think he's a waste of money at this point in his career. He got a lot of money thanks to Brandon Graham helping him in the Super Bowl season. That's the only reason why he got money. If Brandon Graham wasn't there, Fletcher Cox was doing nothing.
I mean, I think he's a good leader for them, though.
He's a great leader. He's not worth the money. He's not worth the money. I mean, A.J. Brown actually got less money than I thought he was going to get, too. He only got $100 million with, I think it was 57 guaranteed or something like that.
Right.
I think the way contracts are working right now, because the salary cap went down COVID year, the premium that is being put on quarterbacks and receivers, you're going to see a lot of defensive players getting butthurt and demanding releases because they're not getting the money, because those guys are eventually going to break through and you're going to see them take over seasons, and they're going to want 25 mil quarterback money, and it won't be there, and we've talked about it several times on this show. Patrick Mahomes is a selfish, greedy person for getting that much money.
That was such a stupid contract.
Yeah, I mean, I know the man's got to make his check, but that much money,
you don't need that.
He hurt the team financially by getting that deal.
And now we're gonna see how good he really is.
They just got another Tyreek Hill. They got Sky Moore. He's gonna be a beast for them.
We'll see.
Also,
not another Tyreek Hill. I'm exaggerating, but
Justin Ross is there, isn't he?
Yeah, if he's healthy.
If he stays healthy, he is the biggest steal.
He has 1,000 things wrong with him, though. Like neck problems and a bunch of other stuff.
Spine problems. The dude is a walking doctor list.
Yeah. I really liked – I was texting my friends. I really liked Justin Ross. But this is before I knew that, like, the injuries were as bad as they were saying.
They're bad. That's why he didn't go draft it, because his injuries are so bad that even the doctors probably think he shouldn't play football anymore.
All right, so let's talk Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you guys think he ends up? He's getting traded. San Francisco can say what they want, but they don't want to sit on him and waste the season. He said he's not playing for him. You trade him.
I feel like the issue is going to be with why he wants to be traded. Is it because he's being utilized as the RB like running back wide receiver combo? Because he didn't have an issue being just a wide receiver until this year, when he's also being the running back. San Fran did pick up another running back late. A big dude, he's like 6'3", 215 or something like that. But he's really nobody.
They have Elijah Mitchell, though. He doesn't need
Elijah Mitchell. If he stays healthy, they don't need Deebo as a running back. But I don't know what this is about. He will be traded. I don't think he's going to get traded until preseason starts, though.
So what I read this was about. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, so a lot of people think that it's this wing back idea is the reason why he wants to be traded. I just feel like the 49ers would just be like, we just won't use him as a wing back. I just don't think he wants to be part of. I don't know if I want to call it a rebuild, but I don't know if he believes in Trey Lance. And obviously with Trey Lance coming in and being this young and how he plays, they're going to be a very, very run-heavy team. And if he doesn't want to be a wing back, maybe he doesn't want to be a part of them. They're not going to be what they were with Jimmy G. They're probably not going to be as good, honestly, because Jimmy G's not great, but he wins games.
But here's the issue.
They have a different identity, and I think the problem is going to be that he wants to be somewhere where he's going to get the ball heavy. I think Green Bay makes a lot of sense if they can find a way to bring him in there.
New Orleans, too. The issue is, I heard he wants a lot of money.
I bet.
But why? It's 1 year of proven talent. Like, his rookie season was good, but he wasn't amazing. This year, he was absolutely a monster.
But he was a monster because he was also playing wingback.
Yes,
and
and
he's very injury prone.
That's a big
Right.
red flag. Like, if you don't want to play wingback, we've seen what you've done as just wide receiver. Why are we going to pay you over, like, more than Christian Kirk, more than Devontae Adams, like you want, when you've proven nothing as just a straight wide receiver?
Christian Kirk's the one that made this happen for everybody.
He did.
Not him, but the Jaguars ruined the market. So you can thank Chris and his team for this.
I'm happy about that. AJ Brown came in cheap, and Christian Kirk is super expensive.
So unhappy about that. But look, these are the two factors that I see for Debo wanting out. One, like you guys said, there's uncertainty at quarterback. He doesn't know if it's going to be Jimmy G. He doesn't know. What did John say? So don't show up. Could you see?
If he's still there, sure.
Yeah, I think that trade happens during training camp. I think they're waiting on an injury to happen. And
we're definitely going to get to that,
quarterback. But I think it's two things, like the quarterback situation, like y'all said. That's big. Second, I go back to Jimmy Graham when he was playing tight end / receiver, and he had his contract come up, and they wanted to pay him tight end money for the franchise tag. And he made the claim, look, I'm a receiver. You guys played me in the receiver slot more than tight end. I want tight end money. I see the same thing happening with Debo. Debo is saying, y'all want to pay me running back money when I'm a receiver. And he knows when the contract comes up, it's going to be laid out. Here's your stats receiving. Why would we pay you that much when your receiving stats don't stack up? We're going to pay you running back money because you're a running back by committee. And I think that's the biggest thing he's pushing is I want to be a wide receiver only so I can get paid like a wide receiver.
I think it's fair what they're doing
in reverse.
Yeah. They're trying to get wide receiver money.
Do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But in reverse.
I honestly think it's fair for what they're doing because that elevated his game so much more than he has been.
It gave him more value.
Yeah, it elevated him more.
But he doesn't want to do it, so doesn't that take the value away?
Oh yeah, his value's gone. If you don't want to do it, he's not gone. But it's not worth a first round pick in my opinion. If his value as a running back is gone,
right.
If he can't be used like Cordero Patterson, then what's the point?
So where do you guys see him landing?
Jimmy G?
No,
Debo.
No, Debo.
Jacksonville.
You think
that makes a lot of sense, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep. Pair him with Christian Kirk.
And Laviska, if he ever pans out.
I think Laviska is in the trade. I think they trade him for Laviska and a few first round, maybe a first round pick and then a third or fourth, something like that. I don't see Debo's market being insane. I mean, we saw some pretty crazy deals. The AJ Brown trade during the draft was pretty crazy. Tyreek Hill's trade, but he's not on their level.
No, he's not.
So I think it's, maybe a second or fourth kind of deal and Laviska Shenault just because you can dump the contract because I don't see him panning out. He might work better for him, but
yeah, I don't think Debo's getting the contract he wants.
No.
Somebody's going to give him like 20, 23, 24 million though.
Yeah, there's a sucker born every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I could see him going to New Orleans.
Oh God, he would be awful with the Saints.
With Mike Thomas and Chris Olave?
Mm-hmm. Chris Olave is there.
Olave is going to be the prime receiver now. Even Michael Thomas is going to take a back seat.
Michael Thomas is in the back seat by his. Yeah, Michael Thomas I think his NFL career is over.
And Deontay Harris went back there also.
Yeah, he did it 1 year.
He's a slot guy.
Right, but I mean, he's still a receiver. That I don't see the Saints making a push for him.
I don't know what they had to give up because they
maybe Houston.
Houston would have been a landing spot.
That would have been good during the draft.
Yeah, trade away.
I mean, they got their wide receiver.
Are we sure he's leaving the 49ers?
No, I don't think
really
I don't know if he is.
He's not playing for them again. He said that. So I mean, even if he doesn't leave the team, he's sitting
out.
It's gonna be like the AJ Brown situation, to where they talked about they turned on the Jets' second pick, number 10 pick. Yeah, they did. and they're not going to get anything better.
They're
than
not going to
that.
get anything better than that. Doubt so.
No, like
if he was really leaving, they probably would have took that.
That got the Jets the best wide receiver in the draft, and you turned that down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he plays or if he doesn't get traded or if he just sits. It's so shady. It's a gray area for me right now.
I think if I'm the 49ers, I play my cards right, and if he won't play, then he doesn't play, but he doesn't play for somebody else.
I don't think he's going to play for the 49ers again. Those bridges are burned.
No. Yeah, he's done there.
It's too far gone at this point.
And then,
I mean, we've said that about Aaron Rodgers though too.
That is true. I mean, money talks.
Yeah.
When do you start hurting your own reputation for sitting out? When does it become a point where no other team wants you either?
I think his reputation's already hurt asking for what he's asking for.
Yeah.
Without being proven. Like, it's clearly the wingback situation. Clearly. It's got to be that. I don't think it's Trey Lance. Because if anything, Trey Lance would open up more opportunities for Debo as a wide receiver.
I don't agree with that. I think they're going to be a much more run-heavy team with Trey Lance.
I mean, they're a run-heavy team to begin with.
They're going to be like kind of like what they do with Jalen Hurts, probably what the Eagles do with Jalen Hurts.
700 yards a season.
Right.
Okay, so where do you guys now think Jimmy G ends up, and when do you think the trade happens?
At first, before Deshaun Watson, I thought he was going to Cleveland. But now that that's done, I don't know. New Orleans needs him, but they don't have the money.
They could shed the money. They could find a way to
shed the money. I think Jimmy G and Debo could wind up going there, but I don't think they can get the money for both.
I put Michael Thomas in that trade and dumped the contract.
Oh, absolutely. His contract's stupid.
Sign him? They just extended Michael Thomas, right?
Yeah, but they made him more tradable. They took off the guaranteed money part, so it would have been a dead cap hit in the 50 million range, and now it's only like 14. Yeah. It's a lot less.
He's not going to play for them ever again.
I don't agree. I think he plays for them this year.
I think there's too much bad blood between him and Peyton.
I think mentally,
Peyton's not even there.
I think mentally he's not ready for football. No. I think mentally he's not. Yeah.
I mean, he was talking during the draft, and he was talking like a Saint, like he was on the Saints, like he was going to be there. But I mean, you never know.
Yeah, that could just be publicity.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I don't know.
I think Jimmy G. I think either Jimmy G or Baker Mayfield ends up on the Seahawks, but they've shown no interest in trying to get a quarterback in any type of capacity. I don't think Baker leaves, but we'll get to Baker next. But Jimmy G, I believe the 49ers save like a substantial amount of money if they release him or trade him or if he's not on the team next year. I think it's like $25 million or something like insane like that.
Yeah.
So if they trade him and sign Debo with that money or sign Debo's replacement with that money out in the free agent market by one of these vet cuts, you never know.
Yep.
I think
there's going to be a lot more free agencies.
They've invested too much and they moved up too high to take Trey Lance for Jimmy G to continue to be quarterback. I mean, the situation just adds up. They save so much money. He can win. He hasn't underachieved. Like he could go to the Seahawks and immediately be their best quarterback. Yeah. Any of these teams with these young quarterbacks, like a Jets or a Giants or a Dolphins, somebody like that could even use him as a backup if from an injury. I mean, God forbid somebody goes down in training camp, they would be chomping at the bit for Jimmy G before Baker, in my opinion. But I
don't think he. Go ahead. I don't think he ever plays backup again.
You think he should start somewhere? You think he's good enough to start somewhere?
He's definitely a top 32 quarterback for sure.
I just don't see. I mean, maybe the Panthers, but I mean, they drafted one. They drafted Corral.
Yeah.
And they obviously have Sam Darnold. So then, I mean, you're not going to have 3 Sam Darnolds on your team because they're all the same person. So, I mean, the Seahawks, obviously, we all agree, make a ton of sense if they want a quarterback. If they want to try to win, if not, then just rock out with Drew Lock. I mean,
Drew Lock. Oh my God.
I'm going to throw Jimmy G at Miami because I don't think Miami trusts Tua. And I don't think
why would you?
Give him much more of a chance. I think if you're going to make the move, you make it now. You get Jimmy G. You push Tua off to maybe a backup role somewhere not in the AFC East. You send him out west, send him into Seattle for like a 7th-round pick. He's kind of a wash. He didn't turn out right.
It's tough to do that though when he came in last year and almost led them to the playoffs and they ripped off a big win streak like that.
They did.
It's tough to turn your back on Tua now when he came in and did that last year
with no running back.
Right.
Their defense was huge in that. Their defense was huge in that too.
Right, but quarterbacks get blamed for winning and losing games. How long is Kirk Cousins' contract? They don't.
Kirk Cousins he just got an extension 1 year, I think.
I think they have Kellen Mond.
Yeah, he just has 1 year on it. I think they just extended it to just this year. His contract was up this year.
Kirk Cousins has been stealing money for years, but Kirk Cousins is robbing Jimmy G in my opinion.
Yeah, he's robbing people. He's robbing people.
Where do you guys see Jimmy G going?
Seahawks.
I'd say Seattle. They're the most needed for what they have right now.
You think Miami?
I think Seattle tanks to get Bryce Young number 1 overall next year.
Yeah.
I don't think they care about a quarterback this year because they're going to end up with – they have Denver's 1st-round pick next year as well.
Yeah.
So they're going to have – no offense, Adam. They're going to have number 1 overall and probably number 5 overall. Denver is in the toughest division in all of football right now.
Oh, they are.
So I think they don't have a great season.
This depends on how Patrick Mahomes does without Tyreek and how Sky Moore pans out too, as well.
I won't say 5th, maybe 10th or 12th pick, but 2 very high picks. When you get Bryce Young with 1, and then possible. You come back with that later pick for Seattle, and get your tackle you need, whatever. So I don't think they want a quarterback right now. I don't think they have any opinion on that trade.
I know Seattle's not going for Baker because they said that they tried to get him and they're done. They're not going for him no more. Something happened with what Baker was asking for, and they was like, "Yeah, no, we're good."
I think the Browns want somebody to take on the cap hit, the dead money.
That's what it was, and they're like, "We're not doing that."
Well, it was the same problem with the Panthers. It's like $19 million in dead money that they have to take on for Baker Mayfield. Somebody does.
They're going to have to split that.
And I say this because I don't think Baker goes anywhere. I do think Deshaun Watson still has a suspension coming.
Oh, he's going to be suspended.
I kind of feel like they're going to suspend him. Maybe not the full season, but maybe half a season.
No. And they may want suspension was going to happen.
They haven't
it's going
to an agreement on that. It's still rattling around. And they could say, well, he sat out last year, but that's not a suspension.
Right.
That's him being on the exempt list. He still got paid for last year. A suspension is when he does not get paid.
Right.
That's what the NFL labels it as. So they're still going to come in. I'm going to say they're stiff with it because of all the allegations. I'm going to say 10 games. Right at half a season, basically, with 17 games. Because of that, Baker starts the first 10.
I'm not starting.
I don't think Baker starts.
That's so far gone. They did it so bad.
I don't know that he'll do it, but I'm saying that's their plan. That's why they haven't traded him yet. I think there was a partner. They didn't take the offer.
I think they're going to have to take the dead money themselves.
Yeah.
And why would they do that? They can just keep him on the bench at that point, because if they do that, he gets his way. And they've already proven they don't want him to get his way. They did him really, really cruddy. I don't even like Baker Mayfield, but they did him real bad.
They did him bad. I don't know. When I saw that Watson got traded there, I was like, Baker's not involved in that trade.
Yeah.
Like, that was just not right, in my opinion. But they like Davis Mills. What about
the Texans? Did you guys? Oh, the Texans. Oh, okay.
They like him. What do you guys think about Ryan Tannehill's comments about it's not his job to coach Malik Willis? He's clearly salty about it.
He's 100% right, though.
He is. I get it.
Why would you say that?
There's no need for that, in my opinion.
Well, okay. When Aaron Rodgers was drafted, what did Brett Favre say?
Leave. Oh, yeah. Brett Favre was like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm not mentoring this kid. But you can't compare. But Brett Favre's a future Hall of Famer. Ryan Tannehill is barely an All-Pro quarterback.
Well,
barely a Pro Bowl quarterback.
I'm just saying when you get in situations where, You have a veteran quarterback, whether he's, Tom Brady, whatever. That's been Tannehill's team for 4 seasons.
years.
This will be season number 4.
Is it?
You draft somebody, and it's the same thing with Jimmy G. This is your team, and they draft somebody very high in the draft. In this case, not as high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what did Aaron,
Hey,
give me a damn wide receiver.
Yeah, so
Brett Favre told Aaron Rodgers to leave. Brett Favre said, "You need to leave."
So I think I totally agree that he should not consider that his job. He should do himself a favor, because in this industry, what you do for a team, no matter what facet it is, helps you get somewhere else. So you say, no, you're not mentoring. When that next job opens up that they have a young guy, they're not going to bring you in as a leader because you're showing that you're not a leader.
Well,
yeah, but
this is what. Sorry, go ahead.
I just think there's something going on in that front office, in that locker room, because AJ Brown snapped this year. Clearly, he wants out. Julio Jones is gone, so they didn't want him back, or he didn't want to be back. And now Ryan Tannehill's having words. I mean, I don't know what's going on in that team, but it seems like the Titans are kind of imploding a little bit.
I think you could almost put that on Julio, because Julio has that effect on people. You look at
he shouldn't have been brought there. He should have never been brought there.
You look at everywhere he's been. Atlanta, they had Hall of Famers lined up to play with him, and they left.
Yep.
I don't think he's a good locker room guy.
This is what I think about the Tannehill situation. So the biggest knock on Malik Willis is he can't read defenses, and he played in the most simple concept of offense at the college level, and they pretty much said he can read defense at a high school level. So what's it take to heal that and to learn that is time. People think Malik Willis isn't going to be ready for 2 years, maybe 2 to 3 years. The problem here is Ryan Tannehill is 34 years old, and after 2 years they have an out of his contract where they'll save money. So if he believes that it shouldn't be his job because he's grooming somebody to take his job, which essentially he probably is, then I get it, but you just don't say that in public. You know what I mean? Like, that's just something you don't come out and say. Like, I'm sure he's not the first quarterback to think that. He won't be the last, and probably more than half of them think that. You just don't come out and directly say that. But, I mean, by the time, if that happens, he'll be 36, and he might be on his way out anyway because he's never been anything special, in my opinion, more than a glorified game.
Yeah, so, and I don't understand why these quarterbacks can't be more like – I think of that situation. I think of the Eagles situation when they drafted Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was like, let's go, let's have a contest. And Carson Wentz was like, it's either him or me, essentially. Like, these people feel so entitled. Earn your spot. Fight for it. Stop. Don't be a crybaby and fight for it.
It just sucks because Malik Willis is like the nicest kid ever. He always has a smile on his face. He never gets down. He's so easy to root for. And I could see him just like being so willing to learn from somebody. And
is he Steve McNair-esque? I think he's McNair-esque.
I don't think he'll be that good. I think
Steve McNair was a beast. He was a running back in a quarterback's body. Wait, no, quarterback in a running back's body.
I think Malik Willis, he fell a lot. He lost out on a lot of money, but I think in the long run he may be in a decent situation to be the quarterback for the reasons that I mentioned. I mean, the 2-year thing, and then they have a 2-year out after his contract, and he's going to be a while to be ready. But I wanted to talk about, while we're on rookie quarterbacks, how do you guys like Kenny Pickett to the Steelers?
I love it.
You love
it? Absolutely love Pickett.
He gets to play in the same stadium that he played in college. That can't write that better.
Do you think
he's got a solid team to play with too?
He has a lot of good wide receivers.
Yeah.
Do you think he starts right away?
Yeah.
I think Mitch starts right away.
He was the most NFL-ready quarterback in the draft. But
he's the Mac Jones of this class.
Trubisky was not – it was a Band-Aid. He was a filler. He may not even be on the team after training camp.
I don't think – he's gonna start some games, I think.
Do you think that the Steelers thought that they could get Pickett? Or you think –
No.
Because that's clearly who they wanted.
When the Saints moved up, that's who I thought they were taking.
I thought they were going Pickett too. I thought they were going quarterback. I was like, well, there's their quarterback. And
this was the worst class of quarterbacks we've probably seen
since
you and I were kids. And this group, even if Kenny Pickett pans out to be a Hall of Famer, which I'm very much far from saying that.
Oh, yeah.
Willis might be a Pro Bowler at some point. He's not, to me, he's not a franchise quarterback. I don't see him
Pickett could be. I think Pickett is the only one in this class that could be.
I actually like Desmond Ridder to the Falcons. I think that was the best fit for a quarterback because he has really – first of all, they got some young weapons. They have Kyle Pitts and they got Drake London in the draft. I'm not saying it's anything to do anything crazy with, but I mean, Marcus Mariota's above him. I mean, he's not horrible, but I mean, you can start some games and you have no expectations on that team. Nobody expects the Falcons to be good for years on end at this point.
Well, he's in a decent situation. He's going to have somebody good to learn from. Marcus Mariota's been there, done that. He was a starter. Yeah. Then he got humbled. He's been there.
He got humbled very quick.
I think him and Sam Howell are in decent situations. Obviously, Matt
Corral
is in a decent position, but they just came out and said that he dropped because teams think he has a drinking problem. So it was just so much going on with this quarterback class. It was so crazy. I'd never seen that I can remember quarterbacks fall that far. I mean, there was one taken in the first round.
Yep.
And then there wasn't one taken for way more picks after that. It was just insane to see.
At the end of this quarterback class, I think there's a good chance Matt Corral is the one with the best stats over the career.
Really? I feel that way about Desmond Ridder.
He reads defenses better than the rest because he had a great teacher at Ole Miss. Right. I mean, he already had the talent. He just needed the right coach. And as much as I don't always agree with some of the things that comes out of Lane Kiffin's mouth, the guy is a quarterback guru. I mean, he knows how to manipulate a defense. So he'll take what he learned there. And it's not going to be Matt Rule after this year. I think he's gone. But whoever they bring in could be Lane Kiffin. That guy can teach Matt Corral. He already has the basics. So I think he has the best career of the guys that were drafted.
So who do you guys think dropped the most in the draft?
Nakobe Dean.
What was the injury problems?
It was a personal injury, wasn't it?
Well, Justin Walsh dropped the most, but
most of his injury came out.
From expectations, though, and
Nakobe Dean was a first-round projected pick.
I mean, as high as 14 is where they had him.
Yeah.
The elective
Eagles stole him, in my opinion, if he's healthy.
Yeah. He's not. I think now, they're going to tell him you need to have the surgery. Because if he doesn't, they're looking at next summer before he's really completely 100%. And
it's like, look, dude, you've been drafted. Go get the surgery now. You're good. Yeah. Just go get it. You're going to get paid. You got your rookie contract. Just take care of yourself so we can have you for the future. No, Nick Foles will go somewhere.
He'll go somewhere as a backup.
I think he'll go to Atlanta. He could go to Atlanta to start in Atlanta, honestly.
He can go somewhere like the Giants, Patriots, Jets, somewhere with one of them rookie quarterbacks just in case something happens. A good veteran who's obviously won the big game to learn from. He can go to any one of those teams, the young quarterback.
Yeah. So I was watching the draft the one time I could, and I saw the Eagles go like twice during the time, and I was like, you guys need a linebacker bad. Why didn't you pick up Nakobe Dean yet? So I went to bed, didn't think anything about it. Woke up, and I saw they picked up Nakobe Dean in the third round, like when I went to bed. Was it third round, I think?
The Eagles, you mean?
Yeah, the Eagles. Yeah. That was in the third round, I think, right?
Yeah.
I was like, finally, Howie Roseman did something with his life.
Nah.
He had a good draft.
For the first time in his whole career.
So we got about 12 minutes left. Sean said he wanted to talk a little NBA.
I got some stuff to talk about that.
The live score is Boston up 19 on Milwaukee. That is quite the shift from game one, where it was quite the opposite. Sean, Adam, who wins the series?
The Bucks. I think the Bucks win in 5. I think that the Celtics had to win this game. It's so crazy because Marcus Smart's out and they're blowing the doors off of them. But I think the Bucks win this series ultimately. I just think that their experience winning these big games comes into play, and nobody can match up against Giannis. And
he's a beast.
I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible for the Boston to win, but I think the Bucks win, not easily. I think everything's a pretty close game besides these first two, but yeah, I'm gonna say Bucks in 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think the Bucks are going to wind up winning. I'm not sure what the spread's going to be as far as games, but I do think the Bucks want to win it mainly off of Giannis.
I'm going to say Celtics in 7. I think Chris Middleton being out really hurts their depth.
Mm-hmm.
And Drew Holiday he's good. He's not going to carry this team.
No.
Giannis can carry them for 3 wins. Right now, he's 9 for 21 in this game that's going on right now. And I mean, I'm not watching the game. I don't know what's going on, but usually he's more of a 12 for 21, 11 for 21. So he's not carrying them exactly either. I say Celtics in 7.
So we want to talk about carrying. Let's talk about James Harden's bum.
Yeah, he's a bum.
Yeah, he's garbage. He's done.
Like, how are you supposed to be the best player on the team with Joel Embiid out, with him out, and you're the 4th best player currently with him out?
He's done. He's
flagrant. I don't think so. It would have been a flagrant.
No, that wasn't
not even close.
That wasn't even a flagrant at all. The Sixers are going to they're going to lose to the Heat if Joel Embiid does not come back. Guaranteed.
They're going to lose to them either way, in my opinion. I think they would lose them either way.
I think if Embiid comes back, I think they got. I mean, the Heat they're really good.
They're deep.
I think they're going to go into. If they win this, they'll go into the championship.
The Heat?
Yeah, I think so.
I do too. I think
Sixers aren't going to make it to the championship. There's no way that's happening.
Doc Rivers is getting fired. It's his fault.
He's trash.
It's his fault Joel Embiid got hurt.
There was no reason to play Embiid.
Right.
Zero reason. He's a moron. Absolute moron. Like, I went to bed. I was like, all right, Sixers got this game won. I wake up and Joel Embiid has a concussion and
fractured face.
Messed up eye. Like, what? Why were you in?
No.
But as Harden only had 16 points last night. Why is Tobias Harris scoring more than you?
I would say I agree with you with the Heat going to the finals because here's the way I look at it. Their bench scoring is the highest in the NBA.
Yeah.
If you are star heavy, like this is what happened to the Nets. Durant was having off nights. They have no bench.
Yep.
And Steve Nash is ass at coaching.
He's trash.
If the Heat, if Butler has an off night, somebody will step in and score. They're not going to drop off the same.
Tyler Hero had the most points, and he's off the bench.
End of the year is Tyler Hero.
He has no reason to be sitting. Like he should be a starter, but he might be a bench person. He is.
He'll be somewhere else in a couple years.
Yeah.
But who do you think winds up winning it this year?
Suns.
You think Suns? We think it's gonna be Suns and who?
Bucks rematch. Yeah. I think the Suns win this time.
I would say the Suns make it out of the West. I really think this is the Heat's year.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think they're too deep. I think there's no drop off. You know, Jimmy Butler is a superstar. He may not score 35 a game, but he steps up in the playoffs. They're going to win it. I feel it. They're going to win it.
Everybody should have kept. I'll take Jimmy Butler on my team. I've said this in so many different shows all the time. I'll take Jimmy Butler on my team 10 times out of 10.
If I was the Sixers, I would have kept Butler.
But Tobias Harris instead, right? Or Ben Simmons, was it? It was one of them two.
Nah, Harris. They signed Harris was too big of a contract, and what's his name? He's not even on the team anymore. Had a huge contract, but I'm easily keeping Jimmy Butler. Easy.
I agree.
Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid. That would be a hell of a duo right there.
Not every player has that dog in him. Like Jimmy Butler's going to guard your best player. He's going to give his all. He's going to hustle. He might give the coach some problems. He might be outspoken, but he's got that dog in him that not every player has.
Yeah. Would you rather him or Kyrie, given every situation?
That's Jimmy Butler.
I'm taking Butler all day over Kyrie because Kyrie's playing a quarter of the season. That's it.
Offensively, Kyrie's better, but defensively, rebounding and everything else, Jimmy Butler's much better.
Kyrie's a basket case.
Yeah,
I simply do not like Kyrie Irving because of his attitude.
yeah.
He needs to leave that team. They need to get rid of him and let Durant take that team
He ain't going
like
nowhere.
it should be.
He ain't going nowhere either.
That's why Harden left. Harden left because he's
Durant
like, all right,
might
well,
move. I think Durant finds a new home.
he should.
You think so? I think
so.
I think he's
He
so
deserves
upset
his own team.
that he switches teams when it gets tough. He already has that notion towards his legacy. I don't think he'll leave.
Man,
I mean,
go
he's the
back
best
and
player in
look
the
at
NBA, in my opinion.
go look at that Thunder team. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Perkins.
Curry.
They had an NBA championship team and didn't do it. They didn't even get to the finals.
Too many captains.
I think he goes to a team like Atlanta, where he can ball with Trae Young. I almost said Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can ball with Trae Young, and they can just have a shooting party somewhere like that, or maybe even
Trae
the
Young's
Jazz,
so good.
because pair him with Donovan Mitchell. Those two are going to be ugly together.
I don't think Donovan
Mitchell
Mitchell's
is my favorite player to watch.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell's going to be there anymore. I think he's going to the Knicks.
I think Rudy's the one going.
I think they're both going, honestly, and the coach.
There's going to be a lot of changes in the NBA this season.
Quinn Snyder has aged greatly in his time with the Jazz.
He'll be the Laker coach.
Lakers, they don't have a coach anymore.
Don't say that the Lakers. I don't want him.
The Hornets with Ball would be awesome. That'd be good.
I love that Ball's doing.
I mean, the Grizzlies need another superstar. The Grizzlies need another superstar.
Yeah.
They're about probably one away from being able to beat like the Warriors, obviously.
I think LeBron can actually opt out. I don't think he will. I think he stays in LA, but
I think they're going to get Zach LaVine.
Oh, I think Zach LaVine probably ends up on the Spurs. That's where I see him playing.
He's definitely not playing for the Bulls anymore. That's done.
No, he got disrespected, and I get it, but
he was hurt too. I mean, what are they supposed to do?
It was a tough year for the Bulls. They showed such promise.
They
just killed them.
Didn't beat
DeMar really was killing it at the end. He was playing like ridiculous. He was playing really well.
Does he have a contract for next year, or is he done after this?
I don't know.
Because if he's free, somebody's going to give him a max contract.
I think he just got paid.
Did he?
Yeah.
3-year, $82 million with Chicago.
You got anything else you want to hit on real quick before we call tonight?
I think we're good. I just wanted
to be back.
A lot. Go Ravens.
Yeah, football. Woo.
It's gonna suck that we don't have anything football related to talk about for a while unless free agents get signed.
Free agents should.
Maybe I'll tune into baseball more.
I'm basically kind of leaning towards the Saints right now because, I mean, I got the worst team in all of football in my closet. I hide my Jaguars jerseys. I don't even wear them.
Detroit's pretty bad. At least you guys got a good quarterback there.
Detroit had a great last two drafts, though. Their last two drafts, Detroit did very well.
Yeah, but you still had Jared Goff as your quarterback.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that the Lions didn't pick up a quarterback. They can't really think Jared Goff is the answer.
I think he's not.
They may be the ones waiting until next year because apparently the quarterback class next year is really strong.
It's huge.
Yeah,
the running back class next year.
Who?
Running backs are huge next
year. It's just so tough because running backs aren't valued anymore.
No, they're not.
Much.
A huge running back class is like getting one inside the top 15.
Right. A running back didn't even go in the first round this year, right?
No.
I don't think the year before barely one went.
They barely went last year.
Yeah, Clyde. I think Clyde went the year before, and that was it.
Yeah, it was Clyde the year before, way overpicked. Well, he was picked like 32nd. But then Etienne and Harris last year.
They're just they. I mean, maybe second round value, but I mean, most teams would rather have a great lineman, a great offensive line, and if you have a great offensive line, you can plug in an average running back, and you can get you healthy.
Because you look at the Bills and the Chiefs, they don't have a running back.
All right, and they're
and they're contenders
every year.
The Bills, I think the Bills got the most underrated pick with James Cook. I think he's going to work out well.
So good. He's so good.
Zamir White, too.
Zamir,
right?
And he's not used as much. He was he was safeguarded throughout college.
He's
So he's going to have
baby.
fresh legs,
I
less miles.
I think Tampa and Buffalo got good running backs. It was Zamir White in Tampa and Cook in Buffalo. I
To
like
me,
Zamir.
Zamir White is a one-trick pony in the running game, though.
He is.
He just likes
He
to
is.
hit you. He doesn't like to dodge you. He wants to hit you.
I love those running backs though. That's why.
I like the Ravens running back, Batty. I like him, but he's obviously not going to get a lot of burn on this offense if we have Gus and J.K. Dobbins and Lamar running.
Yeah.
Dobbins
Gus
needs
is
to
good.
come into his own. He needs
He
to
will.
step up. He's capable
Him
of
and
being.
Akers. Him
Yeah.
and Akers both need to come into their own at this point.
And I think they both
Awesome.
will.
Well, I think that is all she wrote, fellers. It's good to be back, and
Yes,
we're going
sir.
to get back on a regular Tuesday schedule. About this time, I think, is a good time.
Yep.
8 Eastern,
I'm
7
off
Eastern.
Wednesdays, so
You're off when?
I'm off on Wednesdays, so it works.
So you can be on late. You mean on Tuesdays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I was like,
Yeah.
is it Wednesday? Okay. No, we're good.
Okay.
So thanks for joining us, and check out some other ASAP shows. There's some really good shows, but please like, subscribe, keep up with ASAP. We have great shows all around the network. For Sean and Adam, I'm Chris. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys in a week.
See you, fellas.
Yes.